have in front of me a 16 channel analog DVR. So basically this is a digital video recorder here, but it's designed to work in conjunction with analog cameras. So it's available with free delivery directly from freetv.ie. It's capable of taking internal hard drives, and it can support picture quality of the D1, which is a reasonably high level picture quality. So about 2 years ago we would have rated this as a sort of a top end DVR. Now it's sort of more of an entry level one, but we have it at a very, very competitive price, and the build quality on these is actually extremely good, and it's quite feature rich in terms of a lot of things you can do with it. So you know, generally we'll say you see a lot of improvement in the DVR thing, but this is a higher end DVR than the vast majority of ones that are installed even for commercial applications currently, because it takes a long time for to work through. So overall this is a good product at a good price. So the format is, I'm going to go through the overview of exactly what we get in the box. I'll show you the DVR and the menu system on it, and then we'll take a more detailed look at the DVR itself. So this is the outer box it comes in anyway. So you can see it supports the H.264 standard. And what we have here then is a user manual, which is in English, a mini CD here with software etc. on it. We have 2 bags of screws here that we actually use for mounting internal hard drives inside the box. And then what we have is we've a 12 volts 4 amp power unit here, and it's designed for the Irish UK mark. Comes with a 3-pin plug, and we also have the user manual here, or the actual remote control here itself. And what we've moved on to here then is we have a computer mouse as well, which will slot and be used with it. So what I'll do at this point is I'll just come to the front of the unit here. There's focus over on the computer screen, or television screen. So we have a camera connected onto the DVR here. So what I'm going to do at this particular point in time is I'm just going to hit the right button here, bring up the main menu. And if it was prompted for a password, it'd just be main and blank, and we'd be straight through. So anyway, we're going into the main menu here now, and in terms of the recording here, I can just come along, and when I'm set in recording mode, I can pick the particular camera, I can pick, you know, pre-record delays, and whether we wanted to start or to have a detect mode, so there's something like a motion kicks off the alarms. We have the hours and the days, and then we can replicate it across all the cameras here. So we can see it scrolls down, and there's a total of 16 cameras right to the end, right before all here. But anyway, so that's the main thing there. I'll just cancel out there. And if we go to playback, if we had recordings here, we could play it back, but of course we don't, because there isn't even a hard drive fitted in this particular one. And then if we're doing backups here, extracting a recording with a particular incident, if you want to, if a crime is being committed. So we'll just exit out here, and now what we'll do is we'll come along to alarms, and we'll go into the motion detection here. So what we have is motion detection. So they're looking for a motion, and it's going to trigger triggered by an event, basically. Okay. So what we can do in that is set which cameras. So video blind, so you can block out certain things. Video loss, what's to happen then, and also the alarm input or abnormality, things of this. So there's a lot of menus inside it, and you'll see it's very feature rich in that extent. So the general one here, we're setting time, dates, etc. And if we come over as far as network here, we can see how we configure this. So we have another video inside the series here that will cover how to set up the app on this for remote viewing, and the basic thing of port forwarding on routers, etc. That's all covered. That's reasonably generic. It's the same regardless of which DVR you're doing. And what we have is the display, PTZ, tour, things like that. So they're probably features we won't be using on this, but they are there in theory at least. So I'll just actually do a log out at that stage there, and I'll just do a cancel out, and we'll just go back to the main menu here. Okay. Now I could come along and I could set this up for a 9 camera view, whatever like that. So we could just go there and we'll just see it in the corner, or we could set it for 16 as well. What I'll do there then is I'll just go back anyway, and we'll look at the actual DVR here itself. So I'm just going to rotate the whole thing around. So if we look at the front of the DVR here, and that's probably the best way of doing it, you can see it's really high-end quality sort of thing here, and virtually all the functionality that would have in the menus inside or on the remote is replicated here. And then we have an up-down functionality here and select button, and we have a port here which we'd normally use actually for adding the mouse directly onto it, and maybe just for the rotation of it I'll rotate this around. Now there's some power indicators there in terms of alarm, whether there's a network setting, whether the hard drive is there, etc. If we rotate and look at the back of the unit here, we'll see that we have a total of 16 inputs here. So channel 1, so it's obviously B and C connections we'll be using here on it. Then we have a video output via B and C, or we have an audio output here as well. And we have a total of 8 audio inputs. We can just select the cameras. Normally people aren't using audio on it, so 8 will be more than sufficient for any applications I've ever seen anyway. So in terms of, if we're not using the B and C connection, we could actually use just a straightforward VGA output, run it directly over, and there's a lot of monitors, but also a lot of TVs now have VGA inputs on them by default. And what we have is a LAN connection, 2 USBs, and then we have a whole series of connectors here, where there's sensor, alarm, and then RS45 will say it would be for the PTZs itself. So overall, we'll say the build quality in this is very high. The price point we have on it is, we just came along and we had a huge clearance sale that we purchased a lot of equipment from. And these DVRs are some of them that we selected inside it, simply because we think that overall it's a good package, and the price point we're able to offer it at is way below even manufacturer cost on it. So if reasonably limited quantities of them, but we decided to add it on to the range there. So that's it anyway, an overview of the 16 channel analog DVR available on freetv.ie.